Has no one been getting groceries? Oh my gosh, dude, you were so right. That was a great vacation.
Whoa, you've been gone?
Deja vu. Well, thanks for just leaving me here without saying anything. Hey now, it could have been worse, okay? I could have left you here with him. Yup, fair enough.
Wow, though, you missed so much stuff. There was this OCG ban list, new demise support, oh my gosh, and have you even seen the new Cyber Dragon monster? I hate it when he does that.
Yeah, that's what we came home for. If you ever left your room, you would probably know that, though. Poop bucket.
Oh, screw you.
Nah, you.
What kind of a comeback was
Alright, you guys, so today we're going to be talking about Cyber Dragon Zieger, which is a card I'm very, very excited to talk about. It broke my heart last week, seriously, having to be gone and stuff, and not being able to be here and talk about that card for you guys, and I'm so excited to be able to talk about this card right now. And I know in yesterday's video I said I was going to let some video topics slide. No, not this one, guys. Not this one at all, man. I need to be talking about this card because I actually sat down and started messing with and playing with this card, and it made me realize some interesting things about it, which is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. We're going to be talking about Cyber Dragon Zieger and how it can be useful and how it plays in current Cyber Dragons. Later in this episode of the show, guys, I'm going to be breaking out my Cyber Dragon deck and show you guys how to play with Zieger and some of the things that it can do and some of the interesting things that I've kind of found out about it. But that's going to be later in the video. For right now, I actually have to give a huge shout out to MetaMads, of course, my sponsor, and of course to all of my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for supporting me and everything. You guys, like, honestly, like, all my patrons, all my fans, everything, you guys are just, you make this channel, you make me want to do this even more than just me wanting to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But I also have a really weird shout out. I mean, I'm really glad that I didn't go on this trip this weekend, and you're about to see why, okay? Sam's Jeep literally caught on fire, okay? Like, it literally caught on fire. They're okay, everyone's okay, but seriously, Sam's Jeep is totaled. It's done. It caught on fire. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. So he has a GoFundMe right now to help him get a new Jeep, which he seriously needs so he can go get to work and, you know, do all the things that he needs to do. So I'm gonna have the link to his GoFundMe down in the comment section. Actually, my description changes sometimes, so I'm gonna pin it down in the comment section. If you guys want to help him out, then be sure to go help him out because he would really appreciate it. But now with all those shout outs out of the way, let's go ahead and start talking about this video, okay? Let's start talking about Cyber Dragon Zieger. So Cyber Dragon Zieger takes 2 machine type monsters to make, one of which needs to be Cyber Dragon, and it's treated as Cyber Dragon on the field or in the graveyard, which will come up again later, and it's also very good because, of course, Cyber Repair Plant, which Cyber Dragon Core searches out, requires a Cyber Dragon to be in the graveyard for its effect to even work, right? So that being said, it being treated as Cyber Dragon right there is very great already. Off to a great start with this card. And its other effect, I don't really remember, so I'm gonna use my cheat sheet here. During the battle phase, if this card did not declare an attack, quick effect. So that is great that it's a quick effect. You can target one machine monster you control with 2100 or more attack, which is like all Cyber Dragons basically. That monster gains 2100 attack and defense. Also, neither player takes battle damage from battles involving this card. So, and you can only use this effect of Cyber Dragon Zieger once per turn. Okay, so you can only use this effect once, and it boosts another monster with 2100 or more attack, and it gives it 2100 attack. So in other words, Cyber Dragon Nova. Or at least I initially thought that this card was really aimed at Cyber Dragon Nova. And I sat there and I played through hands, and I really thought about it, and I'm like, no. I seriously believe in this point in time that Konami has every intention to make Cyber Dragons great again, okay? And how they're gonna do that is they're gonna make them a more fusion-based deck. And I'm gonna explain in a little bit how I came to that conclusion, but I want to start off, before I get to that, I want to start off by saying that the only reason why I went away and why I moved away from Powerbond.deck Cyber Dragons is not because I don't like playing Powerbond. It's not that, or, you know, Overload Fusion, for example. It's not that I don't like playing either of those cards. I love playing those cards. I love playing Cyber Dragons. What it comes down to, and why I evolved Cyber Dragons from being the fusion deck that we all were used to, and why I took it into being more of a rank 5 deck, is because of the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been going. And here's exactly what I mean by that, okay? Let's just say back in the day you drew Powerbond and you didn't draw Cyber Dragons. You weren't exactly going to lose necessarily because the game was slower and you had trap cards and other things probably to stall you out until you saw your Cyber Dragons, or vice versa. Maybe you saw your Cyber Dragons and not your Power Bond. Either way, what I'm getting at here is that you were able to stall more and you weren't just instantly going to lose because you didn't draw into your win condition. Versus these days, where if you are playing, you know, Power Bond.deck, you have to open up that Power Bond to double Cyber Dragon every game. That is your win con. And why I cut Power Bond is because if you draw Power Bond in your opening hand and you don't draw Cyber Dragons, you're done. You're lost. And Cyber Dragons need every single card in your hand these days to be good because they are an older deck. That's just how older decks are. You need every single card in your opening hand with older decks to be even better than modern decks because, you know, modern decks, they're newer, they're more adaptive and more reactive to be able, and more geared to be able to play, you know, in the current metagame versus Cyber Dragons or any older deck where it's kind of like this remnant from a different age that you're trying to make as good as possible. But for the most part, I think that the card is mainly aimed at fusions. I mean, if you read its effect and you apply its effect to Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon instead of Nova, you can see where it starts to kind of come together for you. You can see how it's like, huh, okay, this card is not aimed at making Nova even more of an OTK machine. It is aimed at making Rampage Dragon even more of an OTK machine. And because of that, I truly think that Konami might be coming out with more fusion supports for Cyber Dragons, which gets me very, very excited, okay? It gets me very, very excited because we might actually get a Power Bond Searcher finally, which is something I've been talking about for literally years now, which would be fantastic. But I think more likely what we're probably going to be getting is another Overload Fusion type card. And I think we might be getting a better Overload Fusion. But let me explain exactly why I think that, even though I think that some of you might have already figured it out. But let's go ahead and move over to the table. Okay, so we're gonna play this out using the same cards every single time. So let's use Guitar, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm gonna rig up a hand that's just the nuts, okay? So and let's be real. Cyber Dragons kind of need to open the nuts just about every single time. So let's go ahead and pick out 5 cards. Let's just say we go first. The 5th card, it doesn't really matter. Let's just make it that. Okay. It really actually does matter because so this is, I'm going to be showing you what I kind of realized when it comes to like the full extension board. Okay, the full extension board you can make with Cyber Dragons currently. Okay, this is using obviously my build, you know, card for card, which you guys have seen before. So what we're going to be doing is let's just start this combo off. So let's just say you open up the Absolute Nuts, okay? This card's not in your hand. I just already searched this out because I know exactly what I'm going to do. And we're also going to be playing this out pretending that there's no interruption, okay? So in other words, no Ash Blossom, right? No hand traps. So let's go ahead and activate Guitar. Then activate its effect, and we're going to go ahead and summon out our mics from deck. What you want to do, leave your make sure to leave this open for your Cyber Dragon core, by the way. The rest of the spots don't really matter. So field center, just summon this here. Fine. Next up, let's go ahead and do this number that you guys are all familiar with. Cyber Dragon core, add this to hand, and then what we're going to do next is since we already have a Cyber Dragon in graveyard because we pitched it off of the guitar, not the mics. Sorry, I was pointing the mics. But we're going to activate our Cyber Repair Plant. Cyber Repair Plant is going to go ahead and give us a search. At this point, you want to actually search out Golden Jet. It's very important that you search out Golden Jet. Summon out your Golden Jet. So you'll have Chronomaly Golden Jet. And then you're going to use these two, so this will go into your extra deck, I guess, which is over here. That'll get stacked in your extra deck, and you're going to go ahead and go into that, where is he at? Cleafor Genius, there he is. So let's just say that's your extra deck zone, and this is your monster zone, right? So you got Cleafor Genius out, pretty sweet. Now what you're going to do to get Cleafor Genius's effect is you're going to activate Machine Duplication. So Machine Dupe goes through, and once again, playing without interruption, and there's a reason why I'm playing without interruption right now. I'm going to get to that here in a little bit. But you'll summon out your 2 Cyber Dragons, right? So really good. Cleafor Genius's effect kicks in. At this point, it doesn't really matter what you search. By the way, you were able to normal summon twice because of Symphonic Warrior mics. Forgot to mention that, second normal summon off of mics for the Golden Jet. But continuing on here, it doesn't really matter at this point what you search off of Cleafor Genius as long as it's a light monster that you can pitch off of Galaxy Soldier. That is the next crucial part of the combo here. So let's just say you search out another Galaxy Soldier so that when this one resolves, you get the last one out of your deck. Let's just say you do that. Or, you know what, let's just say you search out another Cyber Dragon core. It really doesn't matter. You can search out another core if you wanted to, just to have another one in your graveyard. Like I said, this part really doesn't matter as much. You just want a light monster in your hand, pitch it off Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier's effect kicks in, and then I'll get you another copy of Galaxy Soldier. That's really what you're aiming at here. So that was playing out that hand, which, by the way, for Cyber Dragons, an older deck, mind you, once again, this is pretty much like a perfect opening. That was really, really good. We still have, we burned up 2 normal summons. We have a Link monster on board. They got 1 card in hand, 4 monsters on field. Not looking too bad. You can extend to whatever, basically whatever you really want to at this point. So from here, this is where it kind of gets interesting. So you have a few options, obviously. I went ahead and got a Zieger from Konami. They actually sent me one for testing purposes, not even playing. It's a very rare I'm trolling you. This is something I printed off. It's charcoal rarity. It's max rarity, okay? But so this is a Cyber Dragon Zieger, and once again we're going to use our cheat sheet here so that we're aware of our effects. So this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon, whatever. The effects really don't matter. What we're really after here is the 2 machine monsters, one of which being Cyber Dragon. So in this case, you can go ahead and actually just use these 2 and go into it, freeing up this zone to the left to be used for whatever you want. But the thing is, you'll notice that it doesn't really accomplish anything. You know, you went into this new monster, great, whatever, you know, and you're gonna have a lot of damage on board because of him and stuff, even though he can't attack, you know. So really what I'm getting at here is what is this card getting me in this combo? So this is the combo version of Cyber Dragons that I've built and developed and that I was talking about just a minute ago, right? What does this card do for me? It's like opening up this zone, but like, what is it really doing? You know what I mean? It's not really doing anything. So what I find is better, and what I found is way better. Let's just go ahead and get back where we were, right? This is going to be anticlimactic, but the regular Cyber Dragon moves, guys, are way better, and you can extend to a better board with just the classic strategy, if you see what I mean. You're able to get Infinity out and Pleiades as a first turn board, which is better than Zieger, right? But Cyber Dragons don't like to go first. And in this situation, I mean, if we had that 6th card in hand, we might have been able to make a better board with Zieger. But let's just say, but the thing is, that 6th card would have had to been really good. And like, I already had to rig up 5 perfect cards, right? I mean, and some of the other cards, I mean, there's other cards you have to play in your decks, like, you know, Kaijus and stuff, you know, in Cyber Dragons, which are really good in Cyber Dragons, but not necessarily good as a combo piece. I mean, it is a kind of a combo piece, but it's also an outer. The only way, Jizukiru, for example, you know, Kaiju is a combo for you in Cyber Dragons is if you have a Cyber Dragon and you're able to Jizukiru your opponent and then go into Chimera Tech with it, which is something that, you know, a lot of Cyber Dragon players already know. But that's not the subject of this video, guys. Really, let me back up here and redo another hand, and I'm going to show you what would make this card better. So now let's play out the same hand, card for card, right? Except for this. This is actually going to be turned into an Overload Fusion, all right? And here's why. And this is why the Zieger is going to be really good, and I'm really looking forward to whatever else Konami comes out with to kind of help this out, because what I figured out is the Zieger is, how do I put this? It helps out Overload Fusion, and that is its purpose, okay? And also, now let's play with Interruption, okay? Matter of fact, let's just say that our opponent ashes the most crucial thing and the best combo piece in this hand, right? And let's try to bait out the Ash. Let's just assume our opponent has Ash Blossom. So what are you going to do first? You don't want your opponent to ash this, you know what I mean, or this. You don't want that. So what you really want is you want to try to bait it out with the Galaxy Soldier and your pitcher dry, right? So then let's just say that goes through. They don't ash it because they want to see what you do. So that was our attempt to try to bait out Ash, though. We wanted them to ash that, right? So we can get our machine duplication off, because that is really the best. That's the best. These 2 cards are the best combo in the deck. Every Cyber Dragon player knows that. So next, let's normal summon Core and activate Core's effect, assuming once again that, you know, they don't ash it, which we're trying to get them to ash this, right? That's what we're trying to bait out. So we search out our Cyber Repair Plants, and here's where we're at, right? So we got our +1, you know, off of Core for Cyber Repair Plants. Now we attempt to machine dupe, and once again, you want to summon this here, actually. So my mistake. But right here, machine duplication, Ash Blossom, right? Your opponent goes Ash Blossom. You're screwed. I mean, that kind of ended your combo, right? That really kind of messed you up. So now it's like, what do you do, right? I mean, it's like you don't want to go into Cleafort Genius, because, I mean, what's the point? I mean, you could search out another monster off of Cyber Repair Plants for Galaxy Soldier, but you're just kind of left in this boat where you're basically just going to make Infinity and pass, right? So you're kind of stuck here. You're kind of stuck in this situation where you don't really have much to do. So what you do, this is the simplest thing in the world. This is what I realized. I was over overthinking everything, trying to extend as much as possible, but the simplest things sometimes get you, okay? Zieger is definitely aimed at more being a power card for you, because you go into this, right? So you go into this, and then you're able to activate that overload fusion and go into Rampage Dragon underneath and use Zieger's effect to bump up Rampage Dragon, because Rampage Dragon, it can attack multiple times, but it's only at 2100 attack when you use it off of overload fusion versus Power Bond, where it's 4200 attack. And that's what I'm getting at here, guys. That's what I've been hinting at this entire video. Zieger's point, the point of Zieger, is to bump this back up to 4200 without Power Bond, right? It's to bump this up to 4200 without Power Bond and to use this, which makes me think that there's going to be some kind of support card to help this out, or some kind of new fusion card for Cyber Dragons that's going to kind of get at that. So I think this, guys, is kind of a hint to better things, and I didn't really discover that until I was kind of playing out cards, because my initial instinct is like other players. It's like, okay, I want to, you know, extend and make the best board possible, or, you know, I want to, or if I'm playing like a go second deck, I want to, you know, have as many outs go as possible, like evenly matched kaijus, etc. It just depends on your strategy and what deck you're playing and stuff. So with everything that I was explaining earlier, with everything that I've had to do with Cyber Dragons, making them a rank 5 deck, making them as competitive as possible with the lack of support, the massive lack of support at that, I feel like this is a hint. I feel like this might be Konami giving us a hint as to them, what they're intending to do with Cybernetic Horizon. They might be giving us, this might be a hint, guys. This might just be exactly what we need, and we just don't even know it yet, because I know you guys had a lot of lackluster responses to this card, but the more I mess around with this thing and the more I implement more fusion cards into my Cyber Dragon deck, as I just showed you, the more I've kind of realized that I think Konami, seriously, this might be a conspiracy right now, but I seriously think that Konami might actually be helping Cyber Dragon players out. They might be making Cyber Dragons great again. They might be making them a fusion deck again. And on top of that, they might just be really, really good. Okay, that's what I'm really hoping for. And I think that's what every single Cyber Dragon player out there is hoping for. So I really hope that this video helped you out and helped you kind of understand what this card does and what its kind of purpose is. Really, I just spent the entire video explaining why this card goes with this card and not this card. That's really all I did this entire video, but I wanted to do more than just that. I wanted to do more than just say that. I wanted to kind of show you guys what I discovered when I was messing with the deck, and kind of maybe give you guys similar ideas as to how you guys can test yourselves and stuff, and in anticipation for cards, or just into anticipation for tournaments, or just general deck building, or whatever. You know, take whatever tips you can from this video, guys. I really wanted to talk about the new Cyber Dragon monster, because I'm very, very excited about it. I'm very, very excited to see you know, what cards come out of Cybernetic Horizon, because I think it's going to be really great, but that remains to be seen, of course, so we'll have to see. But until then, guys, here is some fan mail. Alright, so this one's from a Cameron Barry, I think that says. Let's see what he has to say today. Dear Yu-Gi-Oh! Jesus, I used to be a huge Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan back in the day. I'd run home excited to watch the anime. I owned the original Yu-Gi starter deck, though God knows where all the cards went. I could probably make a quick buck if I could just find that original Dark Magician card, yeah, for sure. And I wanted to save my allowance up for decks and boosters. However, I think that it was during the 5Ds era that I sort of dropped off the bandwagon. Not because I didn't like Synchro monsters, they're one of my favorite summoning types. I guess I just sort of forgot about Yu-Gi-Oh! It happens. It wasn't until Little Karibo's Desert Island deck series that I felt the itch to play again. With how depressing things seemed to be in the world, it felt nice to dive back into old interests, kind of like discovering an old safety blanket. I installed a YugiNoNo Pro and suddenly found myself feeling a little lost. I missed XC summons, Pendulum summons, and it was now in the link format. Needless to say, I felt like an old, confused geezer. Dude, way past his prime. Dude, we've all been there, man. Context, I'm only 22. Leave it to Yu-Gi-Oh! To make a 20-something feel like an old man. It really does do that. Oh my gosh. Because the game moves too fast, and we're all women, and they don't listen to us and slow it down, you know what I mean? Like, but it seriously does move way too fast. Everyone knows it. Yeah, I've talked to pro players that talk about it. Like, but however, I began watching Yu-Gi-Tubers to fill me in on what I missed, and quickly developed some of my favorites: Rank 10, DP Yu-Gi-Oh! And you. Good choices. I think he meant to say but there, but he said nut. So nut, enough gooey sentimentality from me. I wrote in because I found some spicy tech you see whenever I tried a new deck. Magicians seem to stomp all over me and eventually adopted if you can't beat him, join him mentality. Plus the Supreme King ZR looked pretty sweet. A 4,000 beat stick that nukes your opponent's field on summon. What's not to love, for real? And then the February 2018 ban list dropped and the subtlety of Looney Tunes with the subtlety of a Looney Tunes amble. Like that ban list was like it. I don't know. Like I said in the reaction, and I seriously still hold this opinion. That was one of the craziest ban lists we've ever seen ever, and I don't think enough people talk about that. That was huge. Needless to say, I wasn't sure if I could build the deck I wanted. I tried testing everything in YGO Pro when I came across something. Zaborg the Mega Monarch. Yeah, Zaborg. Yeah. I used to side Zaborgs when I played Monarchs. I depended. Like I went through phases where I would like side seriously like 3 of them, so I would see it when I did side it in. But then other times I would just side in 1 because you could search it off of return. So like it just depended. But like yeah, like Zaborg is a really good card and it decimates extra decks. Like and you contribute itself for its for its effects. So yeah, it's a really good card. Yeah, very aware of Zaborg the Mega Monarch. Here yeah no. Yeah, you don't need to tell me how it works. He goes on to say how it works, but like I know Zaborg is amazing. Okay, Zaborg is freaking amazing. But actually, this is pretty interesting. So I you know what? I am gonna read this. So since he's a level 8 light monster that you tribute summoned, you could pick 8 cards from your choice from your extra deck to the pick 8 cards of your choice from the extra deck, send them to the graveyard. Right. Send Predaplant, Chimera Rafflesia, a Synchro Dragon. I use a Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, an Xyz Dragon, a Dark Rebellion, a Fusion Dragon, SKD Starving Venom, and a Pendulum Dragon. Either a face-up, a Dark Worm, but I need an Odd Eyes Raging Dragon in my extra deck just in case I don't have a Dark Worm in the extra deck when I need it. Wait. Zaborg isn't just your opponent's extra deck? Woo! I forgot about that. That's really good. Oh man! But unless it is just your opponent's extra deck and you forgot and you're wrong. But I don't know. I could be either way. It doesn't matter. That's amazing. Zaborg is a great card. If you got an Astrograph in hand when you do this, you can special summon to the field during your opponent's standby phase. Use a Chimera Rafflesia's effect to search a copy of Miracle Synchro Fusion. On your turn, use Miracle Synchro Fusion to banish the dragons from your graveyard to fusion summon. Supreme King ZR going back to Zaborg, you'd have to send 8 monsters to grave. The Chimera Rafflesia, the dragons only make 5. So what to do with those 3 extra spaces? You've got a few options. Yes, dude, the Elder Entity Intis or however you pronounce her. Yes, absolutely. She pops like once she's sent to the graveyard, like right when she's sent to the graveyard. You can send her off a Gale Dogra too. Once she's sent to the graveyard, pops a card. Really good. Send a Leerlisk, Independent Nightingale. Then make an SKD Starving Venom to copy Independent Nightingale, making it 6,800 attack. Yeah, piercing a beat stick that's unaffected by card effects and can burn your opponent for 4K. That's really good. Oh my gosh. Thanks so much for all the great content you put out. Sincerely, Cameron. Well, thank you for the freaking amazing letter. That's actually really sick. I seriously forgot that Zaborg, the Mega Monarch, wasn't just your opponent's extra deck. Because, when I played Zaborg, I seriously just used it as a side deck piece in Monarchs, So I didn't really even think about using it as like a combo thing. But now that you've said something, it seems like I do remember seeing a video a long time ago around that time era, you know what I mean, of someone coming up with some crazy cool Zaborg combo. So now that you say that and stuff, I think that that's right. Either way though, thank you so much for reminding me of that. Thank you so much for your combos and tips and stuff. I'm sure like people are really gonna like hearing this. This is really interesting. I kind of want to try something like this myself, and I actually really want to mess with Zaborg now, because if you can make Zaborg like consistently and be able to send cards from your extra deck like that, you can do some really goofy things. I don't know. That's kind of got my brain like I'm kind of turning now. But either way, I got to keep on trucking here with the mail. But thank you so much. Thank you so much seriously for writing and thank you so much. And that's everything, guys. If you've made it this far, then thank you so much for watching. You've made it to the end of the episode. You've made it to the end of the show, guys. This is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Subscribe.